Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the mystical land of Hyrule for another race in the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament here on the wonderful Speed Gaming channel. We have a race between Ninban and Kappa, and this is a round of 32 matchup. A couple other opponents have already fallen to get to this point. We are starting to get deep in the tournament here. Hey everyone, I'm Cyclone, joined by Hammer Bro. How you doing, Hammer Bro?
It's another day. It's another rando race. I'm getting my rando fix. I am good to go, man. How about you?
Oh, I am definitely ready for a good race here. We have two excellent competitors here, two very well-known competitors in the community, as pretty much almost everyone in the round of 32 should be. And Plasma Kappa, I have called a few of his races in this tournament. Really exceptional runner, and Ninban, very well-known, long-serving member of the community. This should be a fantastic match.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. This is match one, so we're not going to get any spectacular settings, at least this race. Hopefully we'll get something amusing for the second race, if and when it occurs. But everything is normal. Open seed, 7 crystals, defeat cannon, no map compass shuffle, no assured sword. Everything is just the standard settings. I would rather not say because standard settings imply standard mode, which we're not going for, but it's the settings we're used to.
Are you saying that those are not amazing settings, Hammer Bro?
I mean, I think they're amazing, but they're also the most commonly used ones, so it's nice to get some variety going, you know? And I haven't calmed a whole lot of variety seeds, and I'd like to get some.
I have seen a few, and there are some good varieties in this tournament. Anyway, we are underway, and we already have our flippers. That's looking like a Swamp Palace tip very early, possibly.
Wow, just going to call that out right away. That's rather
It's
gutsy.
starting to look like it. And
we got a green pendant on Desert and 5-6 over on Eastern. Hera is just a regular crystal.
I can confirm that. I was going to say Ninman's snap check was just way too quick, but he gave us the second one, and I got to see that. So, yep, we have the Light World now mapped out. 1 regular crystal, 1 red crystal, and a green pendant.
Yep, and as chat has pointed out, with the really early flippers, Houlihan Room is a little bit more difficult to get around, but since Tier 1 is dropping 80 rupees, I think we'll be okay with cash.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine at this point. Houlihan isn't going to be an issue today. Just pull a tree and you're good. So we're going to get a check of Lumberjack by Kappa. Some runners will do this early, some will not. Some just don't want to check until they have the boots, and there's a possibility they might need to pick it up, and it's looking like Agata might be needed. In this case, it's not. It's just another 20 rupees, which we're going to get off the tree pulls anyway.
Yep, full heart over in the mushroom spot, which is actually really nice. Our runner is only sitting at 3 hearts right now, so getting a 33% increase in health isn't a terrible thing.
Not all. Drop it into the drop down here, and, well, let's make it a 40% increase in health.
Works for me. So we are up to 5 hearts for both of our runners. Ninban is avoiding Kakariko for the time being. We'll see if Kappa elects to do the same thing.
And I'm kind of doing the math wrong on that. It's 40% more health than they had. It's actually a 66% increase in health. Math on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, we don't like math. That's why we play rando. Anyways, Ninban is going ahead and doing the Kak route from the south, which has become slightly more common these days. It allows people to check the southern route first and then head up and perhaps get a flute somewhere in either the dig game, or I should say the race, the maze race or something similar. It also allows them to definitely pick up bombs from those 50-50 drops.
Yeah, being able to farm the bombs down there if you don't have any yet can be helpful to make sure you can at least get those items in Kakariko, and that's exactly what Ninban was doing. He farmed a couple bombs out of there. He's good for the well. He's good for the backup Blind's Hut. He just has to get one for Chicken Hut, and hopefully he finds one in a chest somewhere.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Kappa went ahead and bought some bombs and is headed straight to the eastern area, which is not a play that I've seen very often. So it'll be interesting to see if our Sage's Closet has something useful for us.
I've seen this play before, and it has paid off occasionally. Not all the time, but occasionally. There's Arcana Samaria. That will pay off in the future.
Yes, almost definitely going to be required as we get the hammer and a change of clothes. That is not bad at all.
The hammer is in a way, already kind of big for Plasma Kappa because that gives access to the Magic Bat location once we get our ability to get over that location. So we'll see what kind of items we get here in Kakariko to go with that hammer.
That's a fair point. That is 1/3 of our Dark World access as well. So nice to keep that on the back burner, especially if we're still talking about Aghanim being required.
There's always the Moon Pearl as well. Even if we do get our other parts of the puzzle, if the Moon Pearl's on the pyramid, you can't go to the Dark World without doing Aghanim.
Yeah, but that hammer does give us 1/3. So at this point, we just need a glove and that Moon Pearl you were talking about.
Exactly. There is a jar of blue goo. That's going to give us access to Sick Kid, because that's our bottle that he needs to see, that he can stuff a heart or a rupee or something in. And let's see what else we have on the well. Just some money in the back. We have the hook shot. We have a sword. And we have a heart.
Alright, so that's kind of interesting. That hammer hook shot combo does give us access to all of Death Mountain once we get access to any of it. So we're still looking for either a flute or a glove to actually get up the mountain, but once we have it between our two runners, we'll have full access to everything in the light world of that. Meanwhile, Ninban take another trip just to get 10 more rupees for the bottle vendor.
Should be known that for logic purposes, while they can get up there with the glove, and they will do that if they need to, technically the lamp would be required if the glove is the way up as well for logic. The fire rod will not suffice for that particular room.
Yeah, that is a good point to bring up there. Meanwhile, we are going to get a Sick Kid check here. And $10.
I think I just saw an ice rod, and we have a flute.
Whoa! Fire rod, I believe, and the flute, and another sword.
Well, we found 2 swords already. That's not looking good, actually.
Yeah, we've gotten a whole host of key items here, but nothing that really opens up the light world very much.
Now, what I mean is they already have 2 swords available very early, 5 minutes in. That makes me wonder if the lamp is going to be showing up right here in Blind's Hut right now. And if it does, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That being said, I'm not too worried about the potential of Aghanim until I see that lamp.
Well, there's our gloves. So as soon as we find the Moon Pearl, we do have some access to the Dark World.
Yep, meanwhile, Kappa coming up from the south as well. Main difference is that Kappa already has that flute, so he's going to be able to unlock that duck while they're here. Ninban going to take advantage of the glove and go ahead and drop into the back of Escape here.
And this is where Plasma Kappa's already kind of has an advantage because he gets to do a lot more of Kakariko while he's here with that hammer and with the flute. So it's a much more, can we say, beneficial trip into the village. There's our Ether Medallion. There's our single green rupee, one of 2. And there's, I think it was 100 rupees there, which is the only one of those.
Yep, and the good thing about early medallions is that you don't have to go looking for them later. Medallions are one of those items that could just be, just about everywhere, except for the dungeon they're actually locking. So I like seeing those gold coins earlier rather than later.
Yeah, we had a race last night that actually came down to 2 players looking for different coins. So having a hunt for those coins is not fun. When you get up to that dungeon, you realize you have 2 coins and the one you need is not the one you have, one of the 2 you have. That just kind of takes some of the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's also a very fluid requirement. Like for our dungeons, we know what's going to be needed, and there are a couple of exceptions, like maybe needing boots for desert or something of the like. But in general, you know exactly what you need to beat dungeons, and those medallions are very much, they fly in the face of that, which is kind of annoying sometimes.
Ninban gets his hammer out of the back of Blind's hut, and or not Blind's hut, the back of Sasserala's hut in his closet, and looks like he might be heading back to the village. Are we going to get a Death Mountain trip already? Maybe.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. At the very least, you want to go ahead and get that flute rolling because it gives you easier access to. Never mind, we're headed straight up the mountain. Okay.
Who needs a flute? He doesn't have the flute yet.
That's right.
But at least we know that he is going in a place that is logically accessible. He just doesn't know that yet.
It is kind of interesting to see the logic break here so early with all of these Sphere Zero checks available for Ninban. It could be a situation of them thinking, it looks like Aghanim's going to be required, so I'm going to try and just get around that real quick.
Well, he also hasn't picked up the flute, so he doesn't know yet that he can legally get up here, and that's something he will find out when he does eventually find that flute. In the meantime, he is climbing the mountain. For him, this is a sequence break, but the reason he made this mountain play, you see it in his inventory, the hook shot. He can get to the other side of the mountain. He also has the hammer to do it from the top, so he has full access to the mountain right now. He can do whatever he wants here. He just can't get to Dark Death Mountain.
Yep, and the hammer also makes for a really, really nice Moldorm killer, because Fighter Sword Moldorm, not very much fun.
Now, the one thing he is missing is the mirror. So having done these Sanctuary Rock checks, he's going to have to jump all the way down the mountain. How Link can stick this landing, I have no idea.
The ramen noodles on the bottom of Argus there make for a nice spongy landing.
No, I mean Link normally. Anyway,
Link just has the ramen in his shoes.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Ninban is heading over to the Paradox Cave location right now. He is going to be getting 7 chests from here after he drops down into this hole. He will enter the quote-unquote upper part of the cave.
Yeah, they call this one Paradox Cave for a reason. The staircases that you go up and the entrances that you have don't necessarily agree with one another.
Unfortunately, we did not catch what the first of those items was. I did see a piece of heart. So if there is another item there, we're going to have to get an update on that to let you know what it is.
It was rupees of some sort. I heard the rupee counter go up.
Ah, okay. That
10
looked like
bombs,
the 10 bombs.
Mushroom, 3 more bombs, which are completely useless since we already had the 10-pack. A piece of heart, and another piece of heart.
Ew.
So yeah, Paradox Cave, not being terribly useful.
So today we can call this the Cave of Super Disappointment.
Yeah, well, we still have Spiral Cave that might be able to help us out, although I feel like we're probably going to get that check after Hera.
Most likely. So he's going to make his way around. He's going to go to Tower Hera. Probably going to check Spiral Cave, as you said. I don't think he's going to make the play for Spike Cave quite yet. Tower Hera and then Spiral Cave is a safer play at this point, I feel.
Interesting thing I would like to point out is that our runners had flippers from Go, pretty much, and they have both been avoiding those flipper locations. I know we don't have anywhere near Zora money at this point, but there's still a bunch more locations that those flippers unlock early for us, and we have not seen any of those yet.
That's okay. There'll be 300 rupees in here somewhere. Not there, because that's the map. And that's a key. So we don't have either of our items yet, and we also don't have the big key. That means the big key is in the basement. We have to go downstairs? We're going to get a Hera pot instead.
Yep, and this is one of the best parts of this game, in my opinion. After 30 years of this game being around, we still find new ways to break it. Exhibit A.
And he's trying to buffer this carefully so he can get the timing right. He does get it. He's in the pot. This is legal because you can fall in from the 5th floor or 4th floor, whatever the number is. I think it's the 5th. And that hole right at the very top is how you would fall into that pot. So you just go right back to the top.
Yep, now keep in mind, Ninban not going to be able to open this chest, which they didn't keep in mind, but that's okay. And not going to be able to see that. So that's going to be a potential item missing if we don't get both of them out of here.
He is really hoping, now that he skipped the coffee break, he's really gambling that there is nothing in the big chest, because if Moldorm has the other dungeon item, which in this case would be the compass, we have to go to the basement for the big key to open that chest, and that would be a In the event that Ninban gambles and leaves that behind, it's something important that could give Kappa an advantage.
Yep, and we'll see that in just a moment, as Kappa does have the Fire Rod. So Kappa, if they so choose to come in here, will be able to full clear everything. Moldorm goes down without too much of a hitch there, and we do not have an item orphan, so that is nice.
Ninban just got bailed out. We now know the big chest has a compass in it, and we are done here. And that is crystal number 1 at only about 13.5 minutes into the seed.
Yeah, pretty good progress. Ninban going to go ahead and complete the Death Mountain checks real quick. Going to go ahead and get our Spiral Cave out of the way. And then that'll be everything we can do up here so far.
And this is the long, slow, sleepy, walk of shame that we have here on Ninban's side right now. With boots, this cave is a lot faster.
Yep, but in spite of all that, we still did manage to make it here, and neither of us are any worse for wear for it. And we get a quarter heart. Ugh.
So Kappa is also doing the Harapot, which I find interesting. A, because he missed it, and B, because he does have the fire. He could get the big key from the basement if he wanted to check the big chest. So he is making the legitimate gamble here, which Ninban didn't have a choice. Kappa is making the legitimate gamble that he doesn't need to go to the basement for the item. He will be rewarded for that. Nope, he's going to go downstairs. He couldn't do the Harapot, looks like.
Yeah, failed it 3 times. At this point, it's a situation of let's not get tilted. Just go ahead and get your tile room out of the way and be done with it. Unfortunately, this is going to be a time loss here, but, you know, you need to complete the dungeon. Might as well get it done any way you can. Meanwhile, we have a mushroom turn-in from Ninban.
So while we have this mushroom turn-in and our coffee break, remind you our sponsor is Death Mountain Coffee, good to the last cabbage.
Yeah, but where do you get those cabbages from? Are you stealing them from a cabbage vendor?
No, they fall down the mountain.
Oh, well, Ninban saw something he didn't like, because there's a save scum.
And that means that he is planning to do a fake powder with that mushroom later. 100%. Maybe right now.
I think we might get a Houlihan play, actually, with those bombs active.
It looks like it, because he's already been to the back of Escape. This is definitely a Houlihan play. So this tells me he's planning to go to... The Brave does not want to move. There it goes. This tells me he's planning to do the water checks next.
And it's a good thing, too, because honestly, if Ninban had gotten himself into Kakariko again to go ahead and get powder, it would end up being a 3rd trip in just a moment after Ninban actually goes over and gets the flute. I know we don't frequently talk about double or triple dipping Kakariko Village, but that's still a time loss.
And this is where Kappa saved very minimal amount of time, but still time that he saved. It kind of makes up for the fact that he had problems with the Harapot there, because he was able to save the time on the Kakariko trip. And we'll see how that plays out in the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. Randomizer is full of these short little time saves that that runners deal with based upon, you know, relative routing to what the other has done. And it's kind of fun to see them jostle back and forth and trying to guess and figure out who might have a slight advantage. Of course, it doesn't really mean anything until our runners hit go mode, because goodness knows we could have an item somewhere buried deep into the bowels of Hyrule, and it could be anywhere. So
absolutely right. It is really once you know where every single item is that you can say someone has a definitive lead, especially when they're in go mode. But until then, it's a matter of just figuring out what advantages they have, what they can still check, what still can be checked, and where that advantage might play out if they make a certain play. In the meantime, Ninban is taking care of the Moldorm Cave, so named because those are not huge Moldorms.
Although I dare say that would make the cave more lively.
Oh, it would for sure. Looks like we may be getting funneled over to Eastern Palace here.
I mean, we still do have all those flippers checks.
True.
I will be holding out on those as it was the first item that we saw from both of our runners this race. I'll be holding out on those until I see them.
Can you just imagine if the first thing you were supposed to do is go to King Zor with the 500 rupees?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the big fish had the moon pearl.
Here's some music. And with
the quacking.
And with that, Swag Deck area is open for business. Please toot your flute at any time, and you can go to one of 8 predefined locations in Hyrule. However, note the Dark World access is not included. Please do not call until you beat a wizard.
Alrighty, so it looks like we are going to get a mushroom turn-in here from Kappa, who did not do a save and quit, so will not be able to save scum this easily. At least I don't believe they did a save and quit. Might be wrong.
Oh, he's resetting anyway. Nothing you want to save. There's the 300 rupees we needed.
Yep, and that's pretty much how that always works. You're a couple 100 rupees short, do a Houlihan room, get a rupee horde.
And Kappa's going to be getting that right now, and he will not need to do a Houlihan.
Yep, and meanwhile, here we go. Here's those flippers checks.
No hobo check.
I almost want to call Moon Pearl on like the Zora ledge this time, just as kind of a French vanilla randomizer location.
Nah, it's gonna be the fish. Either that or Eastern Palace.
Or we could get a complete and total curveball and have the other sage in the desert hold it. That would be
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I was just about to say that. That was the other possibility.
Oh.
No, that will be picked up.
Yeah, but as interesting as that is, that doesn't unlock anything for us at this exact moment. Wonderful pickup. Definitely need those mitts. Doesn't give us a single location with the other items that we have right now. Obviously, the fish could prove me wrong.
Can we get the combo? No, we can't. We get 20 rupees. He's just going to leave it sitting there.
I was going to say, we don't even get 20 rupees. Ninban is not having them.
He will take the much better prize down here on the Zora Ledge, which, as you see, is the Titan's Mitt. And he now has the power to lift very, very heavy rocks. Kappa waiting for the duck to take him away. He did check the hobo. I didn't see what was there, unfortunately.
Nothing useful. Like 20 rupees maybe, or something equally useless.
Equally disgusting. God, there's our bombos. That may or may not be useful. Not for Ice Palace, but since we already have the Fire Rod, but it may or may not be needed to get into one of our other 2 dungeons that requires a medallion.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say, picking up that Bombos medallion is a bit less galling when you already have the Fire Rod on hand.
Is this your Moon Pearl for the bit of a weird workaround here for the other old man to have it? It is!
Alrighty, so there we go. And at 22 and a half minutes, we have Dark World access. Yay!
Yep, full Dark World access is now granted, and yeah, we can say that Aghanim is alive today.
I would like to point out something interesting here. With the way things have currently gone, we have not gotten a check of any of the actual escape dungeon or of Eastern. So if there's something useful in there, those are also accessible really early as we get pendants in Thieves Town and Ice and our other 5-6 in Pod.
Correct, I saw that too, and everything else, of course, a regular crystal.
So those pendants don't really help us in any way. They don't really limit any of our Go mode items, so to speak.
In the meantime, we're in our Cave of Disappointment, starting with 20 rupees from the thief. There's a piece of heart. There is 10 arrows. There is 20 rupees. And there's another big 20. So I would say that, yes, that's a 10 out of 10 for the Cave of Disappointment today.
Yeah, pretty much. 60 rupees, 10 arrows, and a piece of heart. Yeah, no, you can keep it. Meanwhile, Kappa is going to go ahead and get that eastern area out of the way, or eastern escape area out of the way first. It'll be interesting to see if there's something there. Because if there is, Ninban is not likely to go checking it anytime overly soon.
So Ninban is heading over to that Dark World portal in the mountain area. Super Bunny Cave is over here. He may check Turtle Rock to see what it requires. Hookshot Cave is available to him as well. He can do all of Hookshot Cave and he can't get the only island item because he doesn't have the mirror, but maybe the mirror's in Hookshot Cave and there could be something useful on the island.
The island was something red, either a big 20 or a full heart. I think it was a full heart, but I'm not positive on that.
Well, the boots are red. Are you sure it wasn't the boots?
Oh, I'm positive it wasn't the boots. I'd have been hollering if the boots were up on that floating island.
Excellent. So you mentioned that we did not get a back of escape check. We are now getting a back of escape check as if you asked for it, and he heard you, which obviously is not the case. Meanwhile, Super Bunny Cave provides great bounty today. We had that mirror I was just talking about, and the ice rod both hiding there.
And that is at least a partial example of keeping a key under the mat. That's not usually the key we refer to when we're talking about Turtle Rock. Usually we're talking about having a medallion here in Hookshot Cave that's required to open Turtle Rock, which might still happen.
And then we found the bug catching net. Speaking of keeping keys on the doormat, that'll whack one of the heads silly, won't it?
I'm not entirely certain.
No, it doesn't work that way? Okay.
I would like to point out that if Ether is our medallion here, we can have a go at Turtle Rock if we want. Oh, Bombos. Alrighty. Actually, with that mirror, we can pick up Bombos on the desert ledge.
We can. That means Ninban could go to Turtle Rock if he wanted to, and he can actually go in and complete it, I think.
Yep, as terrible as that would be.
Indeed. Ninban's like, oh yeah, I saw that bubble somewhere. I'm going to head right back to the desert. I'm going to go and pick that up.
This is also going to give Ninban the last bit of their knowledge required to finish up this seed.
Unfortunately, I think we had a little bit of lag, and I don't think we saw what the pendant was, what the medallion was on our side.
I want to say it wasn't quick. I'm fairly certain that medallion had a vertical stripe through it, which means that we are in medallion go mode just as soon as Ninban picks up that Bombos, but I might be wrong.
I'll see if we can get a confirmation of that here.
I went to look at it on the restream, and unfortunately I did not have any more luck looking at it there than I did the first time.
I'm looking at his actual stream, and he has listed Bombos for both.
Alrighty, and our tracker agrees. So, yay, Bombos.
Yeah, so Bombos for both. There you go. And Kappa getting his Moon Pearl, and is going to be happily heading to the Dark World momentarily, I'm sure.
Yep, meanwhile, that escape check did not bring up anything fruitful here, so that just ended up being a waste of time, unfortunately.
And Ninban looks like he might be making the Misery Mire play already. He does have the King of Samaria, so he can complete it. And if we didn't believe it before, there is the Bombos requirement.
And Argus is about to get a laser to the face. Sorry.
Well, that sounds fun. And Mizumar becomes just a little less miserable.
Yep, so we do require the boots for desert, which is nice. It means we'll get them at some point. But at this point, I want to talk about Go Mode, Cyclone.
Okay.
Do we just need the boots and a bow? And the lamp, logically, but that's not going to stop anybody.
You know what? I think you're right. Boots and bow. We can backdoor Desert Palace now, and there's no need to get the book unless one of them's on a tablet. So yeah, boots and bow, I think, is what we're looking for.
That's insane. We're not even half an hour into the seed yet.
Well, if this really wants to be a jet seed, that means that
that the bow should be right there in Skullwood, so we just need the boots.
I was gonna say the boots are right here on the bridge, since the bow was just found in Skull Woods. So the boots could be right here, and that would give us no mode if that's the case. Okay, maybe not.
I feel like we might be asking for a little too much. I mean, I'm as hopeful for it as you are, but I feel like we might be asking a little too much there.
Well, initially I did say the bridge until he diverted, so this is what I originally was going to say where the boots were. Nah, okay.
Okay, so, Cyclone, I want to go ahead and take back my boots comment because Desert's a green pendant.
We still will want to get the boots, though, if we can.
Yes.
A, because there's a lot left to do and it'll be a lot faster. And B, because the Gans Tower Big Key could be on the torch. And if we play Go Mode for the next half hour and we leave everything behind, we are doing a lot of doubling back.
I mean, that's a fair point, but at that point, we're looking at a 4.5% chance.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not stopping for a whole lot at that point.
It's most likely going to be things that are not too hard to get. Like, you'll get a couple seconds to open the chest, big deal, but you're not going to go out of the way for left side of Swamp Palace or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, at under 30 minutes, we entered no mode. This one could be interesting, guys.
This could be very interesting, yes. And if we find those boots, then we're in definitive Go Mode.
I mean, if we find those boots, this seed could be really fast.
Oh, no kidding.
Because a lack of lamp here is not going to stop either of our runners for even a moment's notice. They both have a fire source. Neither of them even care half a darn about where that lamp is at this point.
Not at all. This could be, I don't want to say lightning fast, but it could definitely be fast. And Kappa going back in. Of course, we don't have either runner in Go Mode yet, so we're going to be still seeing all the items here. Look at that bunny sprite Ninban turned into an Argai.
You can look at the bunny sprite. I'm a little more concerned by the one heart.
Oh, that is scary. Right here especially, that is scary. He's trying to get rid of his magic. He's going to do a fake anti-fairy grab here, if he can pull this off. A little bit of a screen lag, so kind of hard to tell, but he's trying to get that anti-fairy using a fake powder to get the anti-fairy to turn into a fairy. We're hearing the
And we're good.
and there it is. And with that done, let's take out some eyeballs. Oh, that's 4 hearts already. Wow.
Yeah, Vitreous is no joke.
There's the potion. We don't have any invincibility items. That's going to make this a very difficult boss to fight.
Yes, need to be very careful, or else in Hyrule, the eyeball monster will turn you into gelato as opposed to vice versa here.
The eyeball monster will make you see things differently.
Oh, alright, just the big end left.
Question in chat, you make gelato out of eyeballs only in Hyrule.
Yeah, the gelato's a little bit vitreous, but you know.
And what will the eyeball drop? It drops a key.
Which that's not a terribly uncommon thing, as Kappa is waiting for his ride, which is slightly late, but there we go. The Uber driver is here and ready to pick you up.
No charge.
Alrighty, so we're going to head back into Mire and, well, not find anything that's absolutely required at the very least. We could find some stuff to help us out quite a bit. A sword upgrade, silvers, and the boots spring to mind, but nothing that's going to be absolutely required for this seed.
So Ninban is making that trip back in. That is our book. That could be... that could send Kappa into a direction that he can't really go in yet.
Alright, so at this point we have a bow in Skull Woods, and then the mirror and ice rod in Super Bunny.
And our tempered sword in Misery Mire.
That would have been much more useful before the Vitreous fight, thank you.
Yeah, I tend to concur with that one. What do you say, boots?
Oh, that would be insane.
Ah, there's your magic powder that would have been useful when you were trying to do the fake powder on the Annie Fairy earlier.
Yeah, so Mire became an exercise in Don't You Wish You Had for Ninban there.
I do wish I had.
Not as much as Ninban wishes he had. Alright, so meanwhile, we are getting a dip here into Thieves Town, which is, again, going to net us nothing that's overly useful.
What will be interesting to see, given how divergent these paths have been, how they end up merging back together at Ganon's Tower. That will be fascinating to see how far these two are apart when they get to that point.
Yes, because there is a whole lot of rando left to play. As we are likely going to see a death warp here for Kappa.
Looks
like that's encouraging. Just doing the front four for now.
Yeah, he was taking some damage there, and the bunny beam, I didn't get to see what it was. What his type was.
Mario.
That's Dr. Mario. Okay, good.
But yeah, never mind. Took a bunch of damage, but pulled out the map, so decided it was worth to go to the back of Thieves Town. Unfortunately, that is not going to be terribly helpful. Meanwhile, Ninban is going to be clearing Swamp, which is another dungeon that you really want to go mode, but Ninban almost definitely not going to be doing so.
Kappa is probably going to try and avoid that because he should be able to find eventually everything if he decides to avoid Swamp Palace as long as he can. He should be in go mode by then, I would imagine. This could work in Ninban's favor, though, if the boots happen to be here and they were to be needed.
Yeah, that is a good point. It might work in his favor even if the boots are here and they're not needed, because that's a lot of time left for boots, especially if our runners end up checking their relative locations a bit later in the seed.
And that chest has to be a key. If for some reason it was not a key, you would never be able to go in that door, so you have to be able to get in that door.
Yep, or you're playing Key Sanity or some other silly glitched mode.
Yeah, we don't talk about that here. That's for a Key Sanity seed. We'll talk about that then.
But there aren't any Key Sanity seeds in this tournament, Cyclone.
Exactly.
Aww.
We have mini Key Sanity. Would you like to buy that for a dollar or rupee?
Not really. I played it. Not a big fan of Map Compass Shuffle when it comes to playing. It's fun to watch, but eh.
Anyway, back to this race. Ninban grabbing his key, now going to flood the chamber where the key once sat.
Yeah, both of our runners sitting here on 3 hearts, which is while not fully scary, is scary enough to maybe make you think a little bit more.
Yeah, Dark World enemies are no joke. When you're going in the Dark World enemy with this amount of health, you're being very careful. And neither runner made the play to Palace of Darkness, which I find interesting too. Yeah, we don't have a bow to complete it, but there are a lot of things you can get out of that dungeon if it's not bow locked. And even then, these runners most certainly both know how to do the potion glitch.
That is a fair point. I feel like Ninban at this given point is more likely to make the pod play after Swamp, although I'm not absolutely certain. We do get a blue goo there, which could come in handy at some given point.
Yeah, that refills both magic and life, so that will definitely come in handy at some point where he needs either. Misses the hookshot grab, gets on the second try. Can he use the hookshot to save just that odd second or so as he's going around these areas? Has to hookshot that jelly out of the way. I missed the pun. Did you see it?
Something about stone golems. I didn't see the end of it.
Ah. Stone golems are created as blank slates, according to chat.
As we get our first pendant of the day.
Being pointed out in chat that we're going to have an Argus versus Argus fight.
For some reason, every time I hear Argus, I think of the Arbok Pokemon sound, and I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about it every time I hear it.
I don't think about the Pokemon sound, but I can see why you would make that connection.
Argus!
Yeah, that hurt my ears.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, it is time for the Argus fight, being fought by the one and only Argus, taking out its old other friend, Argus. That's enough saying Argus. So all the Argi, which are basically the bunny sprite for Ninban, are now going to be taken out. And there we go, not too bad. And it just has to kill the big octopus now, or big squid.
Yep, Argus showing his Argyle.
Boo. Here's the Smith chain.
I don't care what you say, I'm laughing. That was funny.
It looks like we're going to get the Froggy World Tour today as he proceeds, or Kappa rather, proceeds to go to Stumpy and is taking Froggy to say, hey, we're going to greet you before you can't greet me anymore. And the World Tour continues as he heads over to, is he going to the Hype Cave area?
I mean, you might as well.
Well, our Froggy friend is going to get to see how disappointing the Cave of Disappointment is today. Here's our Cave 45. Just money.
Yeah, meanwhile, this Cave of Disappointment could be so bad that our Froggy friend might croak.
Just hop away in disappointment.
Yeah, meanwhile, this is rapidly turning into, diverted the seed.
Yeah, this is turning into a case of finding the items that you need. We know where they are, so it's just a matter of when each runner can come upon those items to put themselves into a go mode situation. The fact that neither is in go mode means that we can still see a couple nice to haves along the way, though.
1 dig for 10 arrows. Alrighty. So, Ninban here, whether he knows it or not, has a really crucial decision to make. If this is Smith Chain, then they're going to be putting off Skull Woods for quite a bit longer, which would put off go mode. But if... Oof, okay, that's gonna hurt a little bit.
We are getting the double Smith check here, but Ninban is going to check Village of Outcast while he's taking the frog around. So a little bit of a different tour. That frog is getting to see a lot today.
Meanwhile, it does look like Kappa is going to go ahead and get that Pod Eastern combo out of the way. Good news, 2 more crystals down. Bad news, still not going to find the Ice Rod or the Mirror.
And we're going to be
that Bombos medallion, for that matter.
And we're going to be full clearing both of them.
Yep. For Eastern, that's probably not going to save us a whole lot of time. It could, depending on where that big key is, but I see that big key in its vanilla location enough times that you're basically clearing the whole darn dungeon anyways. Here's
the good news. Ninban is going to be right behind him as soon as he's done here.
Well, Ninban probably won't make that same play because Ninban does not have the bow. If Ninban did make that same play, that would be rather brutal for them.
I didn't even see where the bow was. Where was the bow?
The bow is in the front of Skull Woods.
Ah.
I believe in the chest that is made quicker with the Cane of Samaria.
And by logic, you have to have that in Gan's Tower as well. There is a mimic clip that can be done there. I don't know if Ninban is capable of doing that or not. I am not familiar with how many people are capable of doing that clip. But there is a clip that does exist. The problem is that you need the bow for the dungeons anyway. So he's going to have to get that bow eventually anyway.
Alrighty, meanwhile, our bat friend curses us with a quarter of a heart, which gives us a nice little refill, so that's not bad.
I curse you by removing your life. What do you mean you have more life than you did before?
Yeah, meanwhile, I want to point out that continuing the diverting here, Kappa went ahead and found the shovel in Eastern, because, well, let's go somewhere else.
I don't mind checking the Eastern area first. That was our red boomerang.
Alright, so Ninban sticking with this area, and if Ninban decides to do Skull Woods first, which he should, based upon the fact that Skull Woods is in fact a crystal and Thieves Town is not, never mind.
He is doing Thieves Town. I thought he was going to go Skull Woods too.
I just got faked out. Alright, well, we're going to have another front 4 of Thieves Town at the very least.
And he gets a 20 rupee prize from the treasure game. And machine gun loaded on Armos Knights. Fire! Fantastic, gentlemen.
Yep, 19 arrows and 20 rupees.
So Ninban going to clear out the useless items in the front of Thieves Town.
Yep, and then maybe go for the useless items in the back.
Why not?
I mean, because the bow is in Skull Woods. Please, please.
He doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
Yeah, I know. Meanwhile, we are going to get a pod clearing next from Kappa. Now, Pod can run the gambit from tolerable to very, very not fun without that mirror. So we'll see how Pod routes for Kappa.
Now, the good news for Ninban is I think this bow, he is leaving the back of Thieves Town alone, which is actually the right play. So the good news is if he goes to Skull Woods next, this will put him into a quasi-go mode. Again, we don't know about the Gan's Tower Big Key being on the torch, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of requests for that now. C's already generated. We can't set that, sorry. But that would be the only thing that could possibly stop him at that point once he gets his bow.
Oh my goodness. Cyclone, it hurts. Make it stop.
What hurts?
Checking everything in the area except for go mode.
He'll get to it. See, he's in Skullwoods.
Alright, so Ninban's going to be in go mode relatively soon here. The question is then going to remain, when will Kappa go up to Super Bunny Cave to get the absolutely loaded Super Bunny Cave? Also, we're going to need that Bombos medallion on the Desert Ledge.
So Ninban is now going to be shortly coming upon his bow, and there's his key right now. One of the, I believe, 3 that this dungeon has to offer. Might be 4 now that the other one's not a guaranteed key anymore. I'm not sure. But there's 2 keys anyway.
No, it's 3 keys in chest.
Still is 3? Okay.
8 locations. Yeah, you've got 8 locations total. 3 keys, 3 dungeon items, and 2 actual potentially useful ones.
And Ninban doesn't need an Uber ride. He's just going to mirror himself out. Show himself out.
Meanwhile, half magic on Kappa side. Not a bad pickup.
But not what he wants to see. And Ninban going to save time here, not dragging the statue. Just use the KS Mario block. Done.
And at 49 minutes and 35 seconds, Ninban is in go mode.
Quasi-go mode, we'll call it.
That would be terrible. That would turn this seed into a terrible seed.
Oh, yes.
Like, oh, goodness gracious. That would... Oh... That would be fitting for V31. I'm just going to leave it at that.
What I will be interested in is whether Kappa does pick up the boots on one of these extra checks he's doing, and if that big key is on the torch, that could change this race.
Cutting it close on the magic there, but just enough in the magic bar.
That, of course, means he won't have any for the molecular fight itself. Well, just a tiny bit that will pick up the jar, but he's not going to get much with that. He's not going to bother with the jar at this point. And Kappa moving a wall.
Yep, meanwhile, Bug in room with conveyors and spikes and onion rings.
More like this, please.
And dead.
And map.
And burrito!
And shiny blue crystal thing.
Yep, so that is the 4th for Ninban. Kappa is just a couple minutes away from grabbing their 4th as well.
Notice the fire rod being used to light up the dungeon, Palace of Darkness here. The Palace of Darkness, there are rooms in the dungeon that do typically require the lamp, but it should be noted that there are some dark rooms that have torches in them like those ones. The fire rod in the advanced logic we are using does allow those rooms to be part of the logic if you have the fire rod in your inventory. So the fire rod will be assumed needed to get through those rooms on some occasions. It can be either the lamp or the fire rod. But there are still some rooms that you do absolutely have to have the lamp by logic to get through.
Yeah, that is a good point, and one of the biggest differences between V31 logic and the earlier versions. Another huge difference is that bows are actually progressive. So for the first time ever, you won't have to walk around Hyrule with the silver arrows, because the first bow that you find will always be the bow, and the second one will give you silvers.
So in other words, if they find both, they will have to walk around forever with the silver arrows.
Yep. Wait.
Moving on. Plasma Kappa does finish off the king, who did not really want to have his face shown and tried to attack. We had to put him down, unfortunately.
Alright, so Kappa heading in to clear the rest of this dungeon now, something that Ninban will not have to do.
Ninban will be very happy not to have to do that. Palace Darks is one of those dungeons you want to do in Go mode if you can. Get a few keys, get in, get out of here.
Yeah, that depends largely on where the big key is located, because you could have the big key in a terrible spot, and then, well, you're going to be clearing everything anyways, but that was not the case this go-round, so there will be some time saved.
Cab heading in the basement. We'll see what the two chests down here in the basement have. First, we're going to see the money on the floor. There's another bottle. Is that really Kappa's first bottle?
No, Kappa has two, I
apparently.
believe.
It just wasn't lit up on the tracker. That's why I wasn't sure, but I thought I saw him pick up one earlier. Kappa operating in the darkness. He's going to see what's in the dark maze here. Item number 1. We have not found yet. It's a heart. Slowly making my way down to the bottom of the room. And item number 2, well, in a moment. Item number 2 must have been nothing important because he checked his menu and didn't see anything important.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we know it's not going to be anything important. As we get the Cane of Berna.
I think that was a dungeon I picked up in the other chest. That must have been what it was. Question in chat, is Ninban in Go mode besides maybe needing boots? Yes, Ninban is in Go mode besides maybe needing boots. And needless to say, I'm sure there are people who are fans of Kappa who are hoping that Ninban somehow needs boots.
Yep, I guess we could call this, I don't know, Schrodinger's Go mode, but that seems a bit unfair because we're looking at 1 and 22 and not 1 and 2. So, Pegasus mode?
Boots mode. We're getting a Pyramid Fairy check? Ooh.
I mean, it does make sense. We have both the crystals. Might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
It's not like our other items are sitting in Super Bunny Cave and on Desert Ledge.
Oh, why would they be there? We're going to get the Super Bunny check from... We're going to get the Pyramid Fairy check from Plasma Kappa. The fairy commonly known as Fat Fairy. I personally call her Plump Petunia because she's plump and her name's Petunia. There's no story behind that. I just go with it.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one. That one's all you, bud.
That's fine. Gonna get our check of the legend while we're here, it looks like. No boots makes this a much longer check than it normally would be. That looked like money.
And Kappa is leaving behind the superior boomerang.
Oh, it's a boomerang. I saw blue. My mistake. There are the boots!
Hey!
So if Ninban needs to get the boots for Ganna's Tower, he might not check that for a while. This could get very interesting.
I mean, to be fair, Kappa's going to go ahead and get Catfish out of the way. This is an unfortunate routing decision.
Very.
Alright, so the longer Kappa puts off getting the Dark World Death Mountain checks out of the way, the more likely this is going to be a 4.5% chance of being a closed race.
Meanwhile, since Kappa does have the boots, yes, the speed run has officially begun. Ninban, unfortunately, is going to be speed walking for a while longer.
Yep, but on the flip side, Ninban only needs Eastern and Turtle Rock out of the way here before we get to go see GT. So, not a whole lot of speed walking left to be had.
I'm trying to figure out how this will work for the GT Big Key guessing game if it's on the torch and Ninban can't pick it up. Do we just count it as when he saw it?
That's what I would go with. Because Ninban is still almost definitely, outside of something absolutely absurd happening, going to be the first person in GT.
Well, let's stop going on that until it happens. We do have a shovel that Ninban is now going to pick up in Eastern. He is looking for the big key, so he is pretty much going to be opening everything here until he finds it. Being noted in chat as well, and this is absolutely accurate, Kappa's going to probably start checking all the boots locations and sink more time into those. So this could also cost him some time as well.
The one advantage to these boots is that they might, between the boots and the book, push Kappa towards desert, which would allow... Because I don't know that Kappa knows that Bombos is on the ledge.
I don't think he's been in the desert.
Right, so so right here, Kappa is going to go ahead, probably clear Mire.
He has no mirror, by the way. He should have probably checked the ledge and Agina before going back to Mire, I think.
Well, that's a fair point, but without the mirror, Kappa would have to enter desert the normal way to get that medallion.
Yeah, the medallion, he doesn't know yet that the medallion's on the ledge because he didn't check that. He could have at least checked that while he was here.
Right.
Now he hasn't checked it, so now he's leaving that behind. Oh, I'm being told he did check the ledge. My mistake. I didn't think he checked it.
You know, every time Kappa starts here, I get a moment of hope, and then he goes somewhere else, and the hope goes away. Meanwhile, we are going to get a check here. Bombos is there, so we're going to go ahead and get desert. Now, this might be a clear of desert, given that it's the green pendant, and that with the boots, Kappa will be able to full clear it.
And yeah, that was Kappa's check of ledge. I was right. He hadn't checked it. So yeah, now he knows that he has to go to desert, and he's going to make his way around one way or the other. Ninban, meanwhile, picking up crystal number 6, and is one away from going to GT. The excitement intensifies as we wait to see what happens. Ninban pushes the dead rock aside.
Meanwhile, we are one crystal away from being able to see if this is a boots required seed.
I have a really good question. If Link is carrying around Titan's mitts and you have a dead rock in the way, why is he able to lift heavy rocks but he can't lift dead rocks?
Because the rocks that Link lifts otherwise are living ones? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Kappa getting his big key from the chest, still is looking for items that are on Dark Death Mountain. It sounds like magic is being blamed for inability to lift dead rocks, because they're dead rocks. Ninban says, "Open sesame!"
Why did he say open sesame? Is he a colonel?
Yes.
That makes sense then.
We'll go with it.
Alrighty, so Turtle Rock is one of those fun dungeons that might end up being Go mode and might end up being Go mode in quotation marks, and that Go mode in quotation marks sounds a lot like full clear anyways.
One of the key things we're looking for is the big key in these first 4 chests. If we find it, we can skip the Lava Island chest, and that is a very important thing to be able to do because that means we're going to save time not having to check that chest for the big key, which is where it would otherwise be. So off to the right side, we have 2 chests to check over here, but first, before we can even check those chests, we have to come across this platform area and light some torches from afar. And successfully done. The hook shot is pulled out. Ledge is hooked too, and you take an unfortunate fall, but you get up here very quickly.
You know, the first time I saw that strat, that was one of the several times that I watched a professional play A Link to the Past and felt like an absolute idiot for not having come up with it earlier. Because what's worse is I never even thought about going down from that platform. I always went up, and then you just barely had enough time if you hit all the torches in the exact last moment you could to sneak through that door, and I just thought it was really hard. But no, you can go south off of that platform, you can hookshot off of that platform.
It seems so easy now, doesn't it? There's our big key. We are going to be skipping the island chest. And Ninban, without boots, is speed walking his way through here.
Yep, meanwhile, Kappa getting further distracted, going to go ahead and turn in that green pendant.
Ninban notices arrows and picks them up.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
He was running out, and he is going to need them later. There's the stolen key. The door stays shut, and he proceeds to head back the way he came.
Yep, meanwhile, it looks like we are going to get a clear of mire from Kappa, who unfortunately at this point is going everywhere except for where is required.
Well, mire is technically required because it is a crystal dungeon, but we'll go beside the point on that.
Yep, Kappa will find what I believe powder and a tempered sword in here, so
Correct.
Won't be all for naught, but it's going to take quite a bit of time to be able to get those items.
And we have another chest open. That is a small key. And Ninban is good on keys. He just has to get through the dark room ahead. He can bypass Laser Bridge, I believe, and he should be able to proceed to Trinex. Just gotta deal with being in the dark here.
So at this point, I know we're missing a handful of locations still for both of our runners, but where was that lamp? Are we thinking maybe Ice Palace or somewhere in the overworld?
I have no idea where it would be at this point. It could be an Ice Palace. I don't know if we've seen the items in Desert Palace yet. It could possibly be in Desert Palace.
Kappa full cleared desert, so yeah,
Never mind.
Was a thing.
I was wrong. Thieves Town was full cleared. Yeah, either Ice Palace or somewhere here on Laser Bridge, maybe. It looks like he is looking for boots just to be safe. He does not want to come back here, maybe.
No, Cyclone, the lamp can't be here. This isn't inverted mode.
No, I wasn't saying the lamp, but it looks like Ninban might have been looking for the boots, is what I was saying.
Gotcha, okay.
But he did not check Mimic Cave if he is looking for the boots. So I'm assuming it's the boots or the silver arrows that he was looking for.
Yeah, it makes sense to go ahead and get Laser Bridge out of the way, because you're going to have at least 3 items there. Doesn't take too long to check. And they save you, what, a good 45 seconds, I want to say? At the very least, just on cannon. So, I mean, if you check those chests and it was there, you'd feel like an idiot for skipping it, so you might as well check it.
I've seen a race where it was not checked and it was there. Didn't make a difference, fortunately, but that just kind of feels silly when you know you just walk right by him.
Alright, Ninban, now is not the time to make a mistake, my friend.
That would be a mistake.
I said now is not the time to make a mistake, my friend, because he did not take any of the safety doors, so that is going to be another full walk through our favorite Turtle Rock.
That is huge for Kappa right now. He needs this extra time.
I'm sorry, chat.
Hey, I didn't do it.
I know, and you can sit there and gloat in that fact, Mr. Cyclone.
Oh, I am.
I'm sure you are.
And while chat makes calls for the witch to be burned, I don't know why we're burning the poor, nice witch in the light world. Ninban is making his way back through the dungeon. Kappa is in the dark, and I believe that is in Misery Mire he's in the dark.
Yep, you are correct. We are almost through with Misery Mire here. I'm not saying it again.
Say what?
Absolutely nothing, Cyclone. Absolutely nothing.
Will he take the safety door this time? This is a fantastic question with only 4 hearts.
Oh, I was more concerned about the fact that Kappa was down to a heart and a half for the Vitreous fight.
He had a potion, it looks like. He's good to go.
Yep. Ninban has a potion too, I believe.
Ninban is setting up for a Death Warp, so I think he's planning to get through... Well, maybe he wasn't setting up. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I'm not sure that Ninban's sure either.
Are you sure that Ninban is not sure of being sure?
Surely you jest.
Certainly. Ninban using the hookshot glitch. Just explain that glitch. When your hookshot is extended, any kind of enemy or projectile can touch you, and you are not damaged.
Yep, nothing like invulnerability frames. All right, Ninban,
He's
you're not going to
using
use
the safety door. With only 2 hearts, this is just asking for trouble. I said nothing.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one. They can jack and burn you this time, buddy.
I've only been burned about 15 times. I'm used to it by now. Let's see if we can get a finish up. The head comes back to life. The tail wags vigorously, and the head comes back to life again. And tries to get some ice out, but fails. Ninban being extremely cautious. Why wouldn't he? Dodges the head this time. Tries to get one last bite in before going to Exploding Shell. Exploding Shell is now happening, and we may have a dead snake or dead turtle shortly. There it is.
Okay.
So we're going to wait for Ninban's crystal to come from the sky. We know it's not the boost, but what is he going to pick up here in Turtle Rock? We're going to pick 20 rupees as our last item. There is crystal number 7. And ladies and gentlemen, get your guesses in chat for the Gans Tower Big Key Guessing Game. There are 22 chest locations, including the torch in Gans Tower, where that big key can be. Your job is to guess which item location that big key is located in, and I am sure I know exactly where chat wants it. But let's go to you, Hammerbro. Where do you think it is going to be today?
I am going to go ahead and say 7.
Well, I'm going to go with 11. We got a 7-11. I like it.
Well, there you go. The reason I'm going with 7 is because I'm going to anticipate seeing a key here in the Hope Room, and then straight right. And then we'll go over and see the torch.
And just a reminder, no numbers above 22, no zeros, no fractions or decimals or negative numbers, please.
Pet hype, and just a piece of heart.
And the pet is dead. And the search beginneth.
Oh, and it's going to be 1 if it's on our torch.
Do we have a torch? Big key. We do not. Ninban is in definitive go mode.
And Kappa is in go ahead and get pedestal out of the way anyways mode.
We are going to get our Ice Pals check.
Yep, which is interesting since Kappa went ahead and checked the pedestal, so knows it's not here. Or rather, I should say, knows there's nothing on the pedestal.
He's just going to go until he gets his items, then he's out of there. 2 to 5, no big key. This might be the Dark Magician routing. Unless he goes to Rando Room, which is just what I would personally do.
I mean, I feel like if it was going to be Dark Magician, he wouldn't have killed those Stelfos.
Yeah, he is doing the original routing from way back when. I like this routing because this is where I normally put my 11 in Rando Room.
All right, well, your 11 will definitely be sitting there in Rando Room. Cool.
Indeed. And your 7 is coming up.
It is, but it's not the 7 I wanted, Cyclone.
Too bad. It's the 7 you're getting.
It would be something ultimately ironic if it were sitting right here.
It's like the game knows. Bet no, 300 rupees. That's where the money's been hiding.
Alright, meanwhile, we are going to get Rando Room check, which is 8 through 11 for our buddy Cyclone here. This room is so-called Rando Room because everything in it is useless in the vanilla game. And everything in it is useless in the randomizer as well.
At least that's the case today. No big key, and on we go. Number 11 is dead. We have 12 to 21 still ahead. So, our 12 to 22, rather. Half of our chests still remain in the game. Where will it be?
Well, we do have Bob's chest coming up, and since there wasn't anything useful on... that's an unfortunate bounce. Since there wasn't anything useful on that torch, we are going to see Bob in just a moment here, and the chest that Bob guards.
Everyone get your Hi Bob ready in chat, as we are going to get to see Bob in just a moment here. We just have to go through this room here. And someone a little early with the Hi Bob, but we'll accept it. So we are going to somehow get this bomb jump across. I think we have a little bit of a frame pixelation here. He's there now. We'll go with it.
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and put the powder in the way, put a bomb down, check it, and back to you, Bob.
That looked like it was not the big key because Ninban is dropping in. So we have 3 more chests back here after we defeat these ice armos. By the way, those not familiar, since you don't see it very often in the randomizer, to the left does lead to the big chest. It can never have the big key, so we don't check it out. Once in a while, though, you might get lucky and see the second sword in there.
Yeah, and if we're talking about mistakes made the first time played this game, as there it is!
Indeed.
In its French vanilla location, because the big key is usually in that front chest there, so very close to where it normally is.
And that means number 14 is the winner today, and we have to congratulate someone in chat. We are going to congratulate Slapshot Fred, the winner of today's Gans Tower Big Key guessing game. Do we have a prize for him?
Yes, the prize that we get to correctly pronounce your name, because I'm pretty sure it's Slapshot.
Yes, that's a very good prize, because I literally did that wrong. It is Slapshot Fred.
Alright, just for a little bit of IRL information that makes this even funnier, my name is officially Freddy. So that was just made hilarious. As Ninban takes out mimics with just enough arrows.
I have a feeling that's going to get clipped.
I have 2 questions. Why is Fred hot and why are we slapping him?
I don't know. I just thought that's what the name said. Anyway, we're going to make our way up Gans Tower and move on from that. This is the first room behind the big key door, and we are going to make our way over to Cannonball Run as my face turns beet red. Looks like Ninban is
interesting.
Yeah, Ninban is playing safety here. He's playing safety here.
Actually, playing the I am not going to die again, thank you very much game.
Oh, yeah. He's probably thinking that he's lost with that Death to Trinex.
Meanwhile, Kappa is finally headed up the mountain, gonna be in go mode here in just another minute or two.
So all that attempt to try to save everything on the mountain for the end and not have to check those couple chests along the way is going to come to realization that he needed to check those couple chests along the way. That was just a fantastic check by Ninban to get the ice rod there when he did, because that's obviously got him a very, very good time on the seed from the looks of it.
Yeah, very much so. This is a situation that was rather unfortunate because, well, here we have someone getting randoed, and this time it was Kappa, and it was Kappa being randoed by the mirror and the ice rod being in Super Running Cave here.
And Kappa is not even... Is he going to go on a Turtle Rock and look for the ice rod in Turtle Rock? This is extremely unfortunate.
I don't think so. I think Kappa is just going to go ahead and open it because Kappa does not currently have the mirror. So can't get back, which is the same reason I'm pretty sure we saw some sword slashes there, because without the mirror Kappa cannot check Ether Tablet.
Which is good because it's not on Ether Tablet, is it?
No, it's not. But
No.
Kappa, I think Kappa was thinking of that potential when...
Ah, that makes sense.
Right. But meanwhile, we are going to get an ice rod and then a mirror and some very happy slashes. Oh man,
that is some very, very happy slashes. He stares at that mirror for a moment. No. And then he leaves Death Mountain for some inane reason.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're going to have to climb the mountain again anyways, and Turtle Rock's already fully open, so...
He still has to do Swamp, of course. So he decided to do Swamp first.
Oh man, I love the raid slashes there before the first item, and then the second item was just silence.
Exactly. That was beautiful.
Meanwhile, the first item gave us Fury, and the second item gave us I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just disappointed.
Meanwhile, as we've been watching Kappa's celebration, we have Ninban on the 6th floor of Ganon's Tower about to... We didn't even comment on the Gauntlet or the Lambolas fight that happened, or those wonderful Wizrobe rooms. We're just going to go straight
because
to
basically the way that Ninban went through it, if you blinked, you missed the darn thing.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone's favorite pet worm part 2 on a bat-shaped platform is what we're doing now, and I'm sure Moldorm is exploding. You can hear it. The item is checked. I don't know what it is.
Yep, and we are going to go ahead and see our Agonometry fight here in just a couple seconds. Ninban making use of that cape because we don't have the boots dash through it, and those mini Moldorms are not mini Moldorms. Mini Helmasaurs are not fun.
That is confirming what I've already seen, that the item was not Silver's. And Agonometry is underway, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe that was a double.
Very possibly. That was a blue ball. I think he got one on that.
Yeah, he did. So we're sitting in a 2-1 right now. 2-1-2. Make it.
Yep, there we go. 2-1-2-1. So, ladies and gentlemen, this means it's time for the Big Pig. And, but first we have to deal with the Big Bat, which arrives. And then the Big Flute to get the Big Bird. And we're off to the pyramid. So this bat is going to crash through the... Go ahead.
Are you putting a TM at the end of that, the Big Bird? Because I think that one's already taken.
No, I'm not. Anyway, the bat crash through the pyramid. Ninban falls into the cuckoo-shaped hole, and we're going to get to see what our favorite ham Ganon says today. Did you know the biggest and heaviest cheese ever produced weighed so many pounds and was so many feet long? No, and I don't really need to know. Cheese facts, ladies and gentlemen. So, 4 phases of Ganon. The first phase of Ganon gives to us a thrown trident.
You know, the irony about this is that Ninban doesn't have the silvers, not completing this fight the intended way, and as thus is cheesing it.
But and takes a death, but has a fairy this time. By the way, you gotta love that death sprite for Argus.
Yeah, well, I didn't comment on it the first time because it was heartbreaking, but this one's a bit more amusing since we get a full heart and a crystal out of the Argus death.
I got to see that the other day for the first time, and that was very amusing. And the second phase, which was the fire circle and the bats, now moving to phase 3, we're going to see how many extra warps Gan decides to give us today in Temper Tantrum mode. We're already up to 3. And none on that one. And we're going to get our third pound, 1 more pound after this. And we stay at 3 extra warps. There you go. And did you find the arrows in Gan's Tower? No, we finished when we found the big key. So that means they were on the right side.
It does, yeah, because, or in the big chest, that would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. Especially if it was an all dungeon seed and we didn't have another bow yet. That would be hilarious.
Ooh. See, I went for hilarious. You called it hilarious, but then went for mean.
Oh, that would be mean and hilarious. But usually, since there's 2 bows now, we would have the other bow by now. Back in the 1 bow days, that would be disgusting. In any case, Ninban has completed the Gan fight. Ganon has been vanquished. All Ninban has to do to take a 1-0 lead in this matchup is to cross a 3x1 bridge. Can he cross this bridge safely and successfully? We will find out in a moment. He can, and he does. Ninban's official SRL time is 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 37 seconds. Plasma Kappa is continuing. We will follow him as long as he continues. Question will be, will he find what he needs?
Plasma Kappa's, Kappa's in go mode, so I'm not sure why he's headed back to ice.
This is a very good question. What is he looking for?
To my knowledge, the lamp. You know, I think that he is on the search for the lamp since neither of them found it.
I think he just saw that I finished. I don't think he's searching for them, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see what Ninban thinks about this. And GG, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, why would Ninban be in here right now is what I'm trying to figure out.
Because I'm here.
Kappa is in here looking for the lamp.
I mean,
there's
why is Kappa
literally
in
no
here?
other reason.
I'm just baffled by why he's looking for the lamp. Maybe just for chat knowledge, I don't know. I know Kappa can do this without the lamp.
Oh no, most definitely. I think it's just a situation of well, I've lost, and instead of just flat out forfeiting, I'm gonna find that stupid lamp, because it's gotta be here somewhere. Meanwhile, from our perspective, Ninban, this seed was actually terrible because we knew where everything was about 28, 29 minutes in. So we just got to watch you guys get sidetracked by stuff.
Wow, nice. That must have been boring, like the scene.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily boring.
Booms. Oh man, it was boring. I fell asleep at the end, near Twilight
Yes.
and GT.
I saw all the emotes on the
Dude,
chat
not having
when you
boots.
finished.
It's such a pain. Can we have boot start, please?
Well, the good news is we can tell you where the boots were.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw chat talk about it. They were in Pyramid Ferry, apparently.
Yeah, Kappa checked that very, very early, which I'm actually very impressed with, because that's the location some people might put off till later. So he did check that fairly early. I think we had about 3 or 4 crystals, including the 2 red ones at that point. So he did get a very quick check of that. And the boots were there, and I am fairly certain at that point, a lot of people in our chat were hoping that GT Big Key was on the torch.
Well, that would be done on the luck because there's only 1 in 23 possibilities anyway
1 in 22.
for that.
That's right.
22, yeah.
So, lamp on Cold Star? We're going to find out in a moment.
Yeah, we know it's not on the pedestal since Kappa did check that, so at this point we're just looking at the potential of a cold stare lamp. There's also a boatload of locations in the overworld that were not checked that are kind of isolated, so just a key.
I think Cap at this point just wants to know where the logic was. Kappa mysteriously doing an all dungeon seed at this point.
I feel like it's not going to extend to Aghanim.
No, I don't think so. He goes over to Kakariko. What are we going to find in Kakariko? Because I am just curious what he's looking up now.
Honestly, we might just get a ped pull at this point.
Well, we know it's not the ped.
Well, sure, but you can still pull it because, well, might as well.
Yeah, this is just for chat satisfaction. We're going to get the glory and honor of a pedestal pull.
Yep, and just a little piece of love, but it's okay. You can still get your ped pull hype in chat.
Yep, get your pedestal hype in chat, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take it where we can get it. And with that, play the music! And with that, Plasma Kappa has officially forfeit from the race.
Yep, just wanted to pull ped. Not a bad idea.
So there you go. You got your pedestal hype, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see if Kappa wishes to join us here. Yeah, it was a horrible seed from us, but from a play perspective, how do you feel that seed went logically, Ninban?
Well, you had everything in the light world, mostly. And then, what was it? Mirror and Ice Rod on the mountain and Bow in Skullwoods.
Oh.
That's like only 3 items that were in Dark World. That's not a lot.
Expected, at the very least, the Ice Rod to be in Swamp and the Mirror to be on DDM. Both of them right next to each other is insulting.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's Kappa, ladies and gentlemen. GG.
GG. As you can see, I played extremely well.
Well, for what you knew, you were playing that as well as you could. Like, any of those plays could have been the correct play, but it was just painful for us because we knew at about the half-hour point where everything was. Ninban had somehow miraculously checked that cave and found those items, and we're just sitting there watching you go by them, and it was just painful for us to see that.
You know,
Yeah. And that was right around the time that you pulled the bow from Skull Woods as well, so we knew where that was. And then it became a game of, okay, so when's Ninban going to go to Skull Woods and when's Kappa going to get up the mountain?
Oh. That was just right in my path, and I wanted a few more items to complete the TR set before I went back up.
Yeah, it's not a bad play at all, and that's something that you see a lot of people do. Just try not to climb the mountain again, especially because you'd cleared just about everything else at that point in the mountain. So it's okay, let's wait until I get my ice rod, and then we're going to go ahead and get all this done at once. I won't have to climb the mountain a 4th time. We'll get it out of the way, but then the mirror and the ice rod sitting right next to each other. It was not fun.
Oh yes, I was obviously let it go very quickly. The only reason I even did Thieves Town is because it had only 1 item in the front. And I'm sitting here on 3 hearts waiting to death warp, and I'm like, okay, I can guess through this dungeon. In the second anything of any importance turns up, I will instantly death warp and continue my route.
And nothing showed up?
Nope. I got the boots and got this nice boots locked desert. 1 item in the back. You got your green pendant. Those are also boots locked. You can shrug and just go for that. It's also nothing. And you check pad, and then you realize at this point there's no point in even doing DDM anymore. You have to do Ice Palace.
It's almost like Ninban found the thing that was sitting next to the rabbit hole, and you just went right into the rabbit hole in that sense.
Yeah. If I'd just seen 2 items in TT, I probably just would have left and not gone all squirrely. But since I was already working from a deficit, I just decided to make it work. Because might as well go. I mean, it doesn't matter if I lose by 15 minutes or 1 minute.
And I think chat was probably happy that you did go and pull the pedestal for them as well, even though we knew already. I think Ninban... Was it Ninban who checked it, I think?
What?
Did you check the pedestal at some point, Ninban? I don't think you did.
No, I was normal.
Okay. Never mind. In any case, I knew someone had checked the pedestal. We knew it was a piece of heart, but I'm sure chat appreciated that, obviously. So here's a really good question for you then, Kappa. What are you going to change next time around for the next race?
I don't think I need to change anything. I have to just be a little less galaxy brain when it inevitably shows up in Pendant Ice Palace.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, and that race is going to be tomorrow's same time, if I'm not mistaken, right? So 6:50 Eastern at Thursday. I don't think it's scheduled on a channel yet, but I suspect that it will be. So,
yeah, most of the races are probably going to get scheduled for a channel now for sure. We're getting to that point in the tournament that we want to see all the races coming up. Yeah, the only race scheduled so far for tomorrow appears to be the Sabatender Walther IV match at 2:20. Other than that, the rest are not scheduled yet. So, but definitely that is game 2 tomorrow. This should be hopefully a less painful seed tomorrow, both for you guys and for us. Any last thoughts before we start to wrap up here?
Never take the... What is it called? The back door going to try next. Like the door that you can mirror in the light world and get fairies. Never take that, it's useless.
Yeah, I did forget to ask about that. You took a fall to try next there.
Yeah. But I would not have ever taken that door. Except maybe if it was something like expert mode, 3 hearts. But really, just a loss of time. Like, you lose half a minute taking that exit for nothing in, like, years. So, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yep.
Just to answer some people in chat that were asking, that were, like, destroying me because I didn't take it. Come on.
I mean, my 3rd item in Ice Palace is the Quake. That was a beacon of hope slammed in my face. All those rage slashes at TR Bombos.
We saw the rage slashes with the ice rod, and then we saw the silence at the mirror, which probably sums up your expression on that seed for sure.
Oh yeah, I went a bit too brain overflow there into no brain.
Well, we do hope that the next seed is a little friendlier for, obviously, for both of you on this, and we hope we do get a much more intense race in the second seed here. Sometimes seeds just do that. That's how Rando works sometimes, obviously. And we do look forward to seeing you come back in this and tie things up in the next one, Kappa.
Yeah, I'll try, or do this again.
And congratulations, meanwhile, Ninban, on winning the first game in the series as well. Good luck in the next game as well.
Thank you. I try to have good luck.
Indeed. So let's just cover very quickly what's happening on the other channels, because all other races that are going to be happening tonight are already underway. We do have Dwayne versus Lin happening on Speed Gaming 2. That one is probably getting close to wrapping up as now. They're about an hour and change in right now. We have Big Dunker versus Jay Meisher happening on Speed Gaming 3. And on Speed Gaming 5, we have Mick Leahy versus Frostbite 3030. Those last two are both just getting started. Game number 3 on McLaggy and Frostbite. Game number 2 on Big Nugget and Jay Meisher. And the Wayne Lin that's an hour underway is also a game number 3. First race of the day tomorrow is Sabatender versus Walther IV at 2:20 on the main Speed Gaming channel. Rest of the schedule you can get at speedgaming.org/ALTTPR. Hambro, you have any last thoughts?
I do not. May your seeds be friendlier than this one was. That's all I've got. Have a good night, everyone.
And thank you, chat, for watching as well. I'll just give a quick look at the Speed Gaming schedule, see if there's anything else interesting on tonight. I don't see much. There's a Chrysalis Randomizer on the main channel. Other than that, some Super Metroid Rando League tomorrow, and that appears to be the bulk of other items going on here, and of course the daily races as well. So go to speedgaming.org/schedule for more information on the schedule. Thank you, chat, for watching as well. If it wasn't for you and everyone on YouTube, we'd just be sitting here yakking to ourselves. So thank you for watching. Come back for the additional rando in the coming days. We are only in the round of 32. We still have a long way to go to get to the finals. So there's a lot of rando to play. Some races even still in the round of 64. Hope to see you here for all of them. Have a good night, everyone. May not all your seeds be pet seeds, and make that good night, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be.